Today is a yoga for stress. We're going to focus a lot on the jaw today. We're going to do a lot of seated work. So if you have a chair and you're more comfortable in a chair, please grab a chair. Find ways to be super comfortable. The idea of this class is not to increase any tension in the body, but to be as comfortable as possible. Fluffy is with us today. We'll see how well she does. So begin by landing in the room. So really take a moment we're going to work a lot with fight or flight because clenching in the jaw is often related to that. So take a moment just to arrive in the room and take in your room, take in your surroundings. Notice what you can see. Notice the sounds in particular. Perhaps take a moment to notice sounds in a way that you're not judging them. So notice sounds as sounds. So rather than hearing a loud, annoying noise and saying, oh, that sound shouldn't be there, it's bothering me, try to just see it as a sound. Hear it with your ears rather than your cognitive mind. Notice the sounds far away. Notice the sounds that might be intermittent. And really start to land on the mat. So come on down to your back. Start to land on your back. So bring your feet down to the ground, knees up. Let your knees come in towards each other just so everything is soft. Your low back is soft. I'm going to see if I can come down without Fluffy getting too crazy. She might lick my face. Oh, she's going to go. So again, maybe take a moment to take in the smells. Really kind of engaging all of your senses. Feeling everything present. Noticing everything present in your environment. So when we're stuck in stress, we're kind of stuck in this fight or flight mode. And the body is always looking to kind of be in homeostasis. So oftentimes we have all of these things that are going on that have been going on for so long, our body has decided to turn off all the switches, turn off all of the things that are kind of constant. So you might be clenching in your jaw and your body has just decided that that's now normal and we're going to let that go. We're not going to think about it. It's just going to be what's normal, what's homeostasis now. So what we're doing today is looking. And rather than cognitively thinking about it, we're just going to find ways to connect to places where we often hold tension and stress. And then just let our brain know and kind of have this trust in our intuition and our brain and our body to want to reset itself, to want to be more comfortable. So we're going to start to just allow that process to happen, not forcing it, just checking in, finding the tension in our body. So as you're laying here on the ground, really feel your feet on the ground. Maybe move them around. Feel your feet. Wiggle your hips a little. Notice if your low back seems to be clenched or tight. Notice if your glutes are clenched or tight. Fight or flight muscles are ready to get up and run, flee. And then bring your hands to your lower stomach. And just kind of feel the warmth of your hands on your stomach. Maybe imagining that your hands and the warmth of your hands could just kind of let go of any clenching across the hips and around the stomach muscles. As if we're beginning to make space for our digestion to turn on and start. Get rid of some of those stress hormones floating around in our body. Maybe start to lengthen the breath a little. So as you start to focus in on your breath, notice if you bring force back into the torso, you start to force this nice, long, slow breath, particularly if you've done any sport or yoga where you really work with the breath and you have that muscular force. We're trying to bring softness so that we can let the breath come in fully without any clenching. So notice if you start to clench, start to loosen and soften around your breath also. And then we're going to bring the back of our head to the ground. Really bring some awareness to the back of our head. So notice what you're doing with your shoulders and your neck. Maybe let your arms come to your sides with your palms up so your shoulders can soften a little more into the ground. Check in for any gripping in around the shoulder blades, especially in between the shoulder blades. Sometimes we pinch our shoulder blades together. So imagine your shoulder blades are just kind of sinking into the ground. They got super heavy. Those bones are filled with lead and they're really being pulled down by gravity, laying on the ground. And then mindful of what you're doing with your neck. Sometimes we force our neck straight. So try to bring your chin to the ceiling and really lengthen the neck. Give it space to have its natural curve. And then back to that focus in the back of the head. So thinking about this skull, it's a giant heavy bone at the top of our spine. Imagine it getting heavier and heavier and heavier and sinking into the ground. So you're letting your head sink heavy onto the ground. You're going to imagine that all of the muscles that support your head are beginning to soften and take a break. And then really check in. So start by finding all of the muscles of the jaw and the face. Almost as if you could send your awareness to each muscle group. And if you're watching this, I forgot to remind you to wash your hands. We're going to be touching our faces today. So I hope you all wash your hands. If not, go pause and we'll start over. So really notice the muscles of the face. Check in around the eyes. Check in around the cheeks. Check in underneath the jaw and then in behind the back of the jaw up to the ears. And then notice right where the skull meets the neck. Another common place to hold a lot of tension. So really just noticing, having an internal experience, seeing if you can really feel the muscles. And whatever helps your brain connect to this space. Maybe you send, if you're a visual person, maybe you send a little ball of awareness around each muscle group. If you are more scientific, maybe you can actually picture the muscles and start to connect with the muscles of the face and back of the head. Whatever helps you bring your awareness, just so you know where you are as we start this class. Know how you're feeling. And as the cognitive brain starts to pull you back to your to-do list, or to tomorrow, or yesterday, or anything else, beginning to give yourself permission to be right here, right now. Tomorrow has yet to come. Yesterday has already happened. The only moment we can be fully present in is right now. Take any hand and place it on your forehead, just enough so that you feel a teeny bit of pressure on your forehead. Let your hands soften. And then feel the front of your head and the back of your head. So connect with these 2 points. And as you do this, start to again focus in on the muscles of the jaw. See if you can soften a little more. It's almost as if you're telling the muscles of your jaw that your head is on the ground, that you're supported, and that they can take a little break. They can release their burden of holding that jaw. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Try to soften in around the tongue. And then take both hands, fingertips, to the back of the skull. So right where the skull meets the neck, not on the spine, but either side. Land your fingertips here. So just placing your fingertips here, just begin to walk your fingertips gently around in this space. Maybe little circles. Starting to just give a little self-massage. You can wiggle your head around on your fingers, just gentle and slow. If you find a point that seems to be particularly achy, maybe just resting in on it and breathing slowly. Move your head a little. Move your fingers, have the internal experience, really feeling this space, thinking about nothing more than just feeling the muscles and tension right where the head meets the neck. And maybe just gently encouraging some of that tension to release and soften with a little gentle movement. And then release your hands. Let your hands just flop onto the ground, palms up, wherever the shoulders are comfortable. So again, just checking in with letting those shoulders drop back down into the ground. Let any tension you brought back into your arms soften. We're going to turn our chin all the way over to the right shoulder. So as far to the right shoulder as it can go. And then connect with all of the muscles and tension. Connect with whatever is held here. And then bring the chin all the way over to the left shoulder. Same thing, checking in on the right side. And then bring it back to neutral. So whenever we work with tension in a body part, whenever we have a holding pattern that we found, it can be very helpful to start below the problem. So for example, if my low back is aching, it's helpful to check in on the glutes and then maybe even the hamstrings and even the lower legs, back of the heels. Maybe the tension goes all the way down. So we're going to start lower. We're going to kind of work our way through most of the body, but then end up back in our focus right around the jaw. So just kind of feeling your feet, feeling any tension that you have in your feet. Wiggle your feet around, wiggle your knees around, feel your hips. Feel any tension in the hips, the low back. And then soften your base again. So really checking in, making sure your base is nice and soft. Find the position for your knees and your feet and your legs where your low back is nice and comfortable. Wiggle your feet around until that feels comfortable. And everybody's a little different, so there's no magic position. Some people might have their feet closer to their glutes. That might bother some people's knees. You may have them further away. Further away may pull in the lower back. Who knows? It's all about your own experience. So find the position where you're super comfortable. And if this isn't super comfortable, place something underneath your knees or put your feet up on a chair. We're going to focus back in lower, so shoulders. So we're going to start by taking our hands, palms down, towards our hips, not right close to our hips, about 45-degree angle. We're going to press them into the ground and we're going to notice which muscles fire up. So we're going to try and keep this entirely in the arms and shoulders. So when you press into the ground, do you begin to fire up your glutes, your stomach, your low back, anything lower? Notice. Try and keep it up in the upper body. And then notice the neck. Is the neck gripping? Try and just keep it right across the shoulders and chests through the arms. So press on and then press off. Start to connect with those muscles. What are you feeling? Feel the muscles in your arms and shoulders and chest, and really keep doing that check-in. Looking at the low back, looking at the neck, check in on the muscles of the face, soften the face. Just little pulses, feeling your shoulders. And then flip the palms and take the hands a little bit higher. Press the back of the hands into the ground and notice which muscles fire up. So really just starting to connect. Look for your compensation patterns elsewhere in the body. Try to keep it just in the arms and shoulders and chest. Maybe push the shoulders a little more down into the ground, the shoulder blades right into the ground. Again, checking in, trying not to fire up the low back. And then little pulses, press on and off. Connecting with what your muscles feel like, with tension and without, with tension and without. Turning your brain on to only the muscles of your shoulders. Take it away from the to-do list, take it away from the distractions. Find the muscles of your shoulders. We're trying to train the brain. What does it feel like when these muscles are tight and when they're soft? Tight and soft. And then bring your right arm all the way across the body. Slow, 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 and past the left. So we're working in upper body, not moving from the hip. So bring it all the way over. Reach, 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 reach. Trying to keep the hips grounded. So notice what is holding you wherever you've stopped. Reach strong. Open the right arm back up, all the way back down to the ground, and then reach across with the legs left. So trying to keep the hips where they are, just making this movement across the upper body. Reach, push your arm forward, 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 forward. Try and get to that right hand. Notice what your neck is doing. Notice what your face is doing. Notice if you fired up your hips and glutes. Try and keep them soft. And then bring it back. Neutral. And we're going to inhale neutral, and exhale, we're going to cross over. So we're going to move with our breath. Inhale neutral, exhale, take right arm over towards left. Inhale, open. Exhale, reach across. So really moving through the shoulders. Start to take this more fluid. Start to push and pull and feel the angles and muscles that feel like they need this movement. So make this your own practice. Try to keep soft in the hips and the glutes and the neck and the core. We're really focusing on the shoulders and upper back and arms. So you're pushing the arm across the body, reaching, lengthening, opening. Complete a full round and land back, neutral, arms on the ground, shoulders heavy, hips and legs soft, face soft. Find your breath. And then take your hands to the ceiling above the shoulders, so fingertips to the sky. Lift the shoulders up off the ground and engage the fingertips. Push, 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 push. And then lower the shoulder blades down and push them into the ground. So push your shoulder blades into the ground using chest, arms, shoulders, not low back, not core, not neck, not face. So soften, soften, soften. Activate the arms. Lift the arms up. Imagine you're squeezing a block. If you have a block, you can even squeeze the block. Lifting shoulders up, up, up. Engage, engage, engage without encouraging any of those other muscles to do the work. And then pull the shoulder blades back down. So one of my compensation patterns right there, pulling the shoulder blades down, I pull my chin to my chest. So pull the shoulder blades down, only the shoulder blades. Soften the neck, soften the face. Pull them down, active and strong. Push the arms up, shoulder blades lift off the ground, engaged arms. Watch for compensation patterns, especially in behind the rib cage. Try to keep right in the shoulders, not in that mid-back area or low back area. Activate shoulders and arms, and then pull shoulders back down to the ground. Press the shoulder blades into the ground. Press, 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 press. And then let that soften a little. So kind of neutral reset, give it a wiggle. Let go. If you have the block, you're still holding the block or imagining you're holding the block. When we're activating muscles today, we don't want to go to full force. We want to find connection with activation of muscles so that we feel it. So we're kind of at that number 10 is too much. Number 0 is not enough. And we want to find that number 5, that right in the middle ground of active muscles, strong muscles, but not forcing. Especially because if you notice when you force to your number 10 level, you're often incorporating a whole bunch of other muscle groups to make that movement happen. So we're looking for number 5. Keeping your arms up, little engagement of the block, or imagining you have the block and engaging. And then we're going to take our block over towards our knees. So take it past your knees and over to the left. Let the right shoulder lift up off the ground. So now here, engage the core a little. But watch what you're doing with your neck. So keep your neck soft. Let your head be soft. Little core. Push your block away. Bring it back to neutral. Block past knees on the right side. Push the block away from you. Engage. And then check in on the neck. Watch the neck. Feel the neck. Engage the core a little. And then bring it back to neutral. Release the block if you have it. And let the hands land on the ground. So now we're going to just wiggle them around, wiggle the shoulders around, and then find the palms on the ground. So now we want to do a little reset. So really push the weight left and right through your arms, but loose. So we're not pushing with force, so it's more like a jiggle. So we're looking for a jiggly movement through the arms and shoulders. See if you can get the jiggle to go all the way down into the torso, maybe even up into the neck and the face. See how soft you can get. See how much you can feel the wiggle and softness and reset. Take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, sigh it out of your mouth and let go. Release. Notice anything that's coming up. And then we're going to make our way to a seated position. So, good time to find your chair. There are no points for being the crisscross applesauce perfect seated yogi. We're looking to reduce stress. If you have the block, keep it handy. So find yourself in a seat. I am going to use a chair today because I've been sitting at a desk doing desk work, and one of my compensation patterns when I'm not focusing is to sit like this in a chair, and of course that's terrible for my hips. So I'm sitting in a chair today to protect my hips. And I'm covered in fluffy hair. So take in your environment, notice all those distractions so you can let them go. Sit, find your seat, find your feet. Feel your feet, feel grounded. Feel your hips, Try and be grounded in the hips. And then begin to imagine each vertebrae. So imagine each vertebrae and imagine just placing a little space between each vertebrae, getting longer, longer, longer. So one of the things our ancestors did was told us to stand up straight. And we pulled our shoulders back and we pushed our neck back and we tried to force our spine straight. So rather than that, try to imagine just lengthening a little space between each vertebrae and taking the weight off. So imagine you could take the weight off your spine, soften the shoulders, soften the neck. Let the natural curves of your spine begin to soften and be there. So release any muscular gripping. Feel your feet on the ground. We're going to work with our breath. So we're going to do a slow skull shining breath. So the idea of this breath is to cleanse the skull. So send energy into the head. So if you give it a try, if you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to do it. It's your practice. I'm going to have my hands on a block because I like the feeling of having my arms and shoulders know that they can rest. They don't feel like they're falling in space. They can really let go. So we're going to bring our attention to our torso. Some people have their hands, it can be helpful to have your hands on your stomach for this breath as you get used to it. We're going to do this slow. So there are many practices of breath. Some of them are intentionally send the energy up as fast as you can into your head or into a certain part of your body. This one, we're going to focus on just getting it moving it around, feeling it without force. So not real strong force and not too much too fast. We're going to move slow. So the idea is we fill up our lower stomach and then we let our muscles of our stomach pull the stomach back. Of course I have my block, you can't see. So pull the stomach back, snap the stomach back. And as it's doing that, it's kind of forcing the energy up into your head. So you snap back. And you don't worry about the inhale. So you just let the inhale kind of naturally come. So if you have practiced this breath traditionally and it's very fast, we're going to try and slow it down. So you're going to breathe in deeply, really focusing on filling up your stomach with air. And then you're going to snap. And then just let the inhale come as it naturally comes. So if you get to start to feel too lightheaded or too dizzy, take a break, just soften and reset. It can be helpful to bring fingertips together or something, hands to thighs, just to ground you back down. So we're going to take a couple of rounds. It's really, I can't talk and do it, but I'm going to do it. So take a deep breath in and take a couple of rounds. So nice and slow, about one breath a second, one push a second. And then as you start to feel too much, or if you feel like you've done enough, just settle in and ground and think about your fingers, your hands, something grounding, maybe just your feet on the ground, or maybe just noticing sensation in your head. Take a few moments grounding. And if you're comfortable, begin again. Taking a deep breath in, slow pumps of the breath, forcing it back up. Traditionally, you're pushing it back out through the nose, but if you need to, bring it out through the mouth. Find what works for you and connect with what works for you first before you play with any different kind of forcing yourself into a different tradition. So take a few moments and then either begin another round or just sit. Try to have an energetic internal experience. So pull yourself away from the cognitive mind and try to really focus in internally on what might be happening. So if you closed your eyes for the breath practice, soften them open nice and slow. So as the energy has been moved around the body a little bit more forcefully, check in. So what are the shoulders doing? What's the neck doing? What are the muscles of the face doing? What are the muscles in the torso doing? So the breath is kind of forceful in the torso. Have you softened back into the torso? You're still gripping around the breath. Notice the low back. Checking in. And then we did a lot of shoulder work. So still staying below our focus, we're going to think about the neck. So we did a little feeling the muscles of the neck on the ground. We're going to take our block, or imagine you have a block. We're going to hold it out ahead of us. So just hold it, engage as if you're pushing into a block, or just push into the block a teeny bit. Really check in on the low back and gripping in the feet and legs. So we want this just in the upper body. Try to be soft in the lower body. Hold the block out. Notice if it starts to feel really, really heavy. And we're going to take the block a little bit up over the head without moving the head. So a little bit up towards the head. Hold. Take the chin down to the chest. Hold. Breathe. Squeezing the block still, or imagining you're squeezing the block. Bring your chin all the way up towards the ceiling. So not dropping the skull backwards, but lifting the chin. Bring the chin back to neutral. Turn the chin to the right shoulder. Squeezing the block. Turn the chin back to the left shoulder. Turn the chin back to neutral, ear to shoulder. Squeeze the block. Back to neutral, ear to shoulder. Back to neutral, lower the box, still squeezing. Take it a little bit lower than the shoulders. And repeat the same thing. Bring the chin down to the shoulder, chest, chin to ceiling. Chin to neutral, ear to shoulder. Ear to the other shoulder. Chin to neutral, turn chin to shoulder. Still squeezing. Back to neutral, turn. Bring it back. Release the block. Place your hands up, palm up. So try to get your shoulders soft, 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 soft. And then bring your chin to your shoulder and notice if it's maybe a little less grippy. Chin to chest. Bring your chin to chest. Notice if it's maybe a little less grippy. Bring your chin up. Neutral. Ear to shoulder. Back to neutral. Ear to the other shoulder. Back to neutral, turn. Back to neutral and turn. And then one final movement. So trying to stay soft in the arms, soft in your base, nice soft feet, soft in the low back. We're going to take our head in a circle. So there are movements where we move our hands as if we're oiling a joint. We move our hands, we move our leg. We move as if we're oiling a joint. We're flicking around, moving in the joint. This is not that movement that we're trying to do right now. We are trying to find all of the angles our muscles can move our head in. And we're trying to connect with those muscles. So it's really slow, and you're trying to feel each and every muscle change that makes your head move. So we're going to move our head in a circle, feeling the muscle changes. Excuse me. Bring your chin down to your chest. Slowly take a really slow circle, as if you're trying to connect, like you're the ticking second hand of a clock. You're moving around in a circle and you're trying to feel every little tick, every little move. Let your eyes go where your eyes go. Notice any creaks and groans. And then when your chin comes back to neutral, reverse the circle. Notice any gripping and compensation patterns that happen in the low back. And then bring your head back to neutral. Do one more circle just for the upper back. So bringing your hands crisscross, your arms crisscross. So one hand to opposite shoulder. And we're going to not do this in the lower back. We're thinking of upper back and across the shoulders. We're going to take a little circle. Again, as if you're trying to feel every kind of angle that your mid-back, upper back, can move in without overly engaging any other parts of the body. So feet are soft. And then up and back the other way. And then return to the ground. So feel free to bring your chair and place your feet up on the chair. Coming back down to the ground. So if you have a blanket handy, we're not getting back up again. So maybe get your blanket handy for the end of practice for your resting pose. Land on the ground and take time to land on the ground. So again, feeling our low back, our base. Don't really work our low back or our base or anything, but just kind of feeling it, making sure it's nice and soft. Maybe giving things a wiggle, really letting go. And then we're going to take our fingertips. We're going to self-massage again. So we're going to take fingertips, little circles on our scalp. So really moving around like you're at the hairdresser and you're getting the best shampoo you've ever had. Fingertips to your scalp. You're moving your scalp, not your hair. So really trying to move your scalp around on your skull. Little firm pressure with the fingertips. And then take your fingertips and run as if you're running 2 lines down the back of your skull from the hairline. So run down back, fingertips down in 2 lines. And then take your fingertips and start from the outside, so near your ears, and work center. So making lines in towards center. So claw hands in towards center of your skull. So as you're doing this, always checking in, loosening your low back, loosening your face, noticing any gripping patterns that are returning. And then back to your circles. So it's almost as if you're pinching and making little circles with your fingers. If you have some other technique that feels really great, maybe you just find a spot that it feels great to hold in, do it. Make it your own practice. So find that point in your head where you hold tension. And then loosen your hands. So spread your fingers wide and then grip, spread and grip, thinking about your hands, looking at your hands, and then take soft, slow circles again. Trying to feel all the movements of your hands. Feel all the ways your hands can move. And then plop them down, palms up, wherever the shoulders are comfortable. Give them a wiggle around, loosen and soften. Really wiggle. And then back to our jaw. So focus of the practice is jaw. Yeah, hopefully created a little more space in the shoulders, a little more space in the neck. Focus in on the back of your head, so really kind of let go of any tension in the neck. And give a teeny press of your head. Bring your hands wherever they're comfortable. Your shoulders are comfortable, your base is comfortable. Press the back of your head into the ground. So press enough that you start to feel some muscles fire up. Press, 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 press. Feel what fires up. Notice what it feels like to have those muscles holding tension. Take a deep breath in, and with the exhale, let it soften. Bring any hand to the palm of your head. Connect with it there. And then you're going to push your head into your hand and your hand into your head without letting anything move. So again, we're looking for that number 5. We're not looking to push and strain our neck muscles. We're looking to push and find, hold tension. So push your head as if you're trying to lift it off the ground without letting it move. Pay particular attention to around the jaw as you're doing this. Take a deep inhale. Notice what it's like to feel fired up first. And then take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, let it all soften. We're going to do that same thing with the jaw. So basically, we're going to find all the ways our jaw can move. We're going to find what it feels like in each angle of tension in our jaw, and then we're going to encourage it to soften. So, fingertips come underneath the jaw. So hands underneath the jaw, fingers underneath the jaw, fists underneath the jaw. You're just trying to give your jaw something to have feedback. So your jaw is kind of neutral. You're going to hold it here, and then you're going to push your jaw open without letting it move. So push it open. Begin to connect with all of the muscles that make that happen. So there should be tension in and around the muscles of the jaw. Pushing, 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 pushing. Take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, soften, release. And then jaw, where it is, still not neutral. So where you hold it neutral. We're going to take our fingertips, our hands, whatever we're comfortable with, just something for feedback. And we're going to push the jaw forward without letting it move. So that different group of muscles, or different angle. Feel the muscles fire up. Feel tension in these muscles. Take a deep exhale. Inhale. And with the exhale, let go. So let it go. And if you need to take breaks for your shoulders, wiggles for your shoulders, go ahead. Try not to bring any more tension into the neck. So you push your jaw forward, you pushed it down. What other angles can our jaw move in? So bring right hand to right side of the face. So anywhere where you're connecting with the jaw. And now you're going to push your jaw right without letting it move. So push, push, push. Take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, suddenly release the tension. Don't let the jaw move. And then see if you can place your fingertips or your knuckles or something just underneath the ridge of the jaw on the right side. So we're keeping our jaw where it is. So we pushed it right. Now we're going to try and pull it backwards. So pull without letting it move. So hold onto the jawbone and pull backwards. Pull the opposite direction, which is actually to the left. Pull, pull, pull. Find some muscular action. Take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, let it go. Particularly check in on the low back or any other places where you might have brought in gripping. And then the same thing on the left side. So bring your hand to your jaw and push it left without letting it move. Really important that you connect, feel the muscles that are making these movements happen. You're not thinking about something else right now. You're trying to focus in on the muscles. Feel the gripping. Take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, let it soften. Don't move the jaw. Bring the hands so that you're kind of holding the jaw. So from the underneath, hold the jaw where it is on the left side, and then pull the jaw all the way to the right from the left. So pull without letting it move. Take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, suddenly let go. Move the jaw around, start to feel what's going on. Now we're going to push the jaw all the way forward. So push it as far forward as you can, and then you're going to place your hand on. So push it forward, hold it, don't let it move, feedback, push, 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 push. Take a deep inhale and exhale, let go. Open the jaw as far as it can go. And then give your hands, push harder. Don't let it move. And then let go. And now we're going to move our jaw in a circle. So we're not rolling it around. We're not throwing our joint around we're not throwing our bones around in the joint. We are looking to connect that mind-body connection with the muscles that make the jaw move. So begin to find all of the angles that your jaw can move in. And if it helps you keep focused, you can bring your fingertips to the muscles around your jaw. Just kind of feel that space where upper and lower jaw meet. And take your jaw in a circle as slow as you can, as if you're trying to feel every angle your jaw can move in. And when you complete the circle, reverse the direction. Let your jaw go to neutral. Fingertips to that place where upper and lower jaw meet. You can bring your index finger and your middle finger in little circles. So self-massage. Let the tension go. Bring all of your awareness to this space. Take pinchy fingers, index finger and thumb. You're going to grab the lower jawbone right at the chin and then work your way following the bone while pinching all the way up to the ear. Pinch the bone, stroke towards the ear. Again, we're trying to have this internal experience. You're trying to feel every part of this movement, every muscle that you touch. Don't let the mind run away. Return to the physical body. If it's really hard to stay focused, do your check-in. Follow your feet. Find your feet. Make sure everything's soft in your base. Make sure you're not gripping around the temples now and the neck. And then make Spock hands. So you're going to open your hands. You're going to place your hands around your ears. So The little finger and the ring finger are on the front of the ear. The others are on the back. You're going to reach up. You're going to connect with where your fingers are touching and you're going to pull down. Reach up, pull down. So, again, looking for other spaces that maybe have been set off if our jaw has been clenched. So, ears. We're going to think about our ears. We're going to take our index finger and we're going to place it right on the cartilage, the bony ridge that's just above the hole in our ear. And we're going to pull it back and up. So pull back and up. Almost as if you're trying to grab the cartilage inside your ear and pull it up and release tension in it, make more space for your hearing. Breathe nice and slow and soft. And then take pinchy fingers again and run your fingers, little pinches, around the edges of your ears. So as if you're just trying to pinch each tiny part of the edge of your ears. Watch out for any jewelry you might have on. Little pressure points in your ears. And if one feels particularly good, sit and hold a little pressure there. Breathe. And then let that go. And time to check in with how it is. So really take a look around inside your body. Feel the muscles of the face, the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Maybe you need to take some wiggles and adjustments. But how are you feeling? What feels different? And as you're laying here, can you begin to imagine the jawbone softening into the muscles of the face? Sinking, letting go, releasing. Connect with your base. Remind your hips that they're on the ground and they're supported. Remind your legs that they're supported. If they're on the chair, they're supported. If they're on the ground, they're supported. Remind your shoulder blades that they're supported. Let everything begin to become softer, softer, softer. And for today's meditation, we're going to soften, of course, into the jaw. So focusing in on the jaw. So we're going to do a very visual meditation. So we're going to think about all of those muscles we just connected with. So we connected with all these muscles that make our jaw move. We connected with how they feel strong and gripping and how they feel soft. So begin to imagine all of these muscles, even the muscles down into your neck, the muscles around your temples, all softening. Your skull is heavy, it's landing on the ground. Your jawbone is softening in to the muscles of the face. And we're going to take 2 little balls of energy And first we're going to place them in between our molars. So whatever helps you connect with two little balls of energy. Maybe they're little cottony clouds. Maybe they have a color. Maybe they have a temperature. Imagine little balls of energy softly moving, swirling, healing energy. So think about healing energy, whatever that visually is. If you're a visual person, think of something that you can place right here, as if you're placing little soft clouds between your teeth. Really bring all of your focus to softening between the teeth. Picture these soft clouds here. Maybe you're picturing little people on the clouds and they're just gently touching with little wands, loosening, little magic. Maybe there's glitter and sparkles, magic, just loosening and softening and spreading from between your teeth. And these little balls of energy are slowly going to expand their softness, their reach, their magic. Until they're all the way into the connection point of the upper and lower jaw, right in this joint. Soft, magical clouds. And as they're resting here, imagine they're sweeping away all the wear and tear of time and stress and gripping. Visualize healing energy, softness, begin to connect with the concept of being ready to let go of control. If this is particularly difficult for you, try saying the words, right here in this moment, all of my needs are met. Try saying that to yourself a couple of times. And while still focusing on magic healing energy within the muscles and in between the joint, the upper and lower jaw, begin to say to yourself, I trust myself. Say it while believing that you trust in your body's intuition. And if you struggle with feeling like you mean it, say it with the kind of kindness and compassion that you would say to a kind friend. I trust myself. Notice if it's difficult. Notice if it's easy. And from your focus in your jaw, gently fall as if falling into the center of the brain. Rest here, giving yourself time to continue your resting pose as long as you need. If you need to finish up at the 60-minute mark, we're already there. 60 minutes goes by so fast. So particularly if your legs are on the chair, take your time to bring your knees in towards your chest. Maybe bring some circles with your hands to your legs. Bring some energy and awareness back into your legs. And then bring your knees into your chest and roll on over to a fetal position on your side, whatever side is calling to you. Reminding yourself of a time in a womb when all of your needs were met. You had not judged yourself as negative or positive. You were simply a spark of life. Take a moment to connect with the concept that that spark of life exists within you, unchanged by your experiences, unchanged by the layers of your life, unchanged by that harsh inner critic that's always talking. And then complete your practice coming to a seated position and bringing your hands to heart space. Bring your left and right sides to meet in front of your heart. A gesture of accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are. Focusing again on our heart center, but again on our jaw. Giving a little warmth and kindness and trust to our body's intuition to let go and release and reset. May we all feel a little less clenching, a little less stress. May we all find the patience to ride the waves of our emotions without getting torn apart by the waves. Thank you so much for joining us.